Yo, Cardi B just obliterated the entire rap game's touring history in one night, and the internet is not okay. She didn't just break records. She shattered the glass ceiling, set it on fire, and told the haters to eat the ashes on Instagram Live. Then she went scorched earth and basically said, "You all want smoke? I got something nasty coming that's gonna embarrass every single one of you." And the hating-ass bloggers really thought this was a week to come for her neck? Bro, you all picked the worst possible moment to run up. Before we get into it, subscribe, don't miss it. Nah. Belcalis Almonzo, Cardi B to y'all, officially wrapped the Little Miss Drama tour with numbers that just rewrote rap history and immediately hopped on X-Bases and IG Live to address the doubters. The 35-date North American run ended April 18th, 2026, and she went live the very next week to clap back at critics like Armon Wiggins and certain barb accounts. The opposition really thought dragging her numbers was gonna land. Man, they clearly didn't think this through. Now let's pull up the actual receipts that show why this backfired hard. Okay, y'all, let me pull up the receipts one by one, because there's a lot of noise out here and I want the facts on the table first. Receipt number 1. On April 21st, 2026, touring data, the same outlet hip-hop blogs treat like gospel, officially reported the number. They said, quote, Cardi B's Little Miss Drama tour sold just over 432K tickets and generated $69,544,408 in total revenue. When I saw that number pop up, I was like, wait, $69 million? On a debut arena run? By a female rapper who people were betting against just last summer? Nah, that's a whole different stratosphere. Receipt number 2. Then less than 24 hours later, the number got updated. Live Nation's official breakdown confirmed over $70 million grossed for 153,000 tickets sold across 35 sold-out shows. That bumped it past NBA YoungBoy's Mass Appeal Tour for the title of highest-grossing debut tour by A&Y rapper in history. Male or female? Bro said what? When I read that I had to do a double take. Cardi, on her first full arena run, outgrossed a dude who did 42 sold-out shows? That's the kind of stat that makes bloggers delete tweets in real time. Receipt number 3. The hating really started when that number got adjusted. One critic tweeted, and I'm quoting this because it's important, "How come she's the only person that always seemed to have a number adjusted?" And then doubled down with, according to a Cardi B fan in my replies, limited view tickets were added last minute. That hasn't happened to anyone else that I know of. Bro said what? That's the dumbest flex I've ever heard. We're gonna circle back on this one hard in a minute. Receipt number 4. Cardi's fan page, at Cardi_Shade Room, was posting this in real time throughout the tour, not after the fact. The exact wording was, quote, due to record-breaking demand, more obstructed view tickets for Cardi B's first show in Atlanta tonight have been added. All original tickets sold out. That post went up before the show. Not after. Not when numbers dropped. Before. So the whole they snuck in last-minute tickets to inflate numbers narrative? Already dead on arrival. Receipt number 5. On April 23rd, 2026, Cardi hopped on X-Bases and went off. She said, and I'm reading her exact words, "Not my fans, but these hating-ass expletives. I suggest you to stop writing narratives on me. These fake numbers, even the fake numbers that you're making up, it's still beating expletives. That's a fact." Then she escalated. "My show was packed to the brim. There's video footage. Honey, you can't lie on the video footages." Then the kill shot. Live Nation going to go with who the expletive. They're making their money. And clearly your girl is making the money. Nah. When I heard her go, Live Nation would lie for little old me. Why? I felt that in my soul. That's the kind of clapback that ends careers. Receipt number 6. The warning shot. Cardi closed out the spaces with this. "I got some stuff prepared. I suggest you all to just shut the expletive up, cause it's just going to be so embarrassing. It's about to get nasty." And when I'm talking about it's about to get nasty, it's not even on the bragging. It's on how I'm coming. When I heard it's about to get nasty, I had to rewind 3 times. Because she's not even finished yet. This was just North America. Now that we got the quotes, let's connect the dots. Now here's where it gets real interesting, because nobody's putting the timeline together correctly. Let me walk you all through it. That touring data post dropped April 20th, 2026, literally less than 48 hours after the final Atlanta show wrapped. Then the update came the next morning, which means the critics who jumped on the suspicious adjustment narrative had a window of about 14 hours to build their entire case. 14 hours. That's terrible timing. Brew. Any smart hater would have waited for the full breakdown. But the opposition isn't smart. Those obstructed view tweets were going up nightly, sometimes multiple times a week, across February, March, and April of 2026. This wasn't some hidden operation. This was happening in plain sight for 3 straight months. So when critics act shocked that extra tickets got added, they're either lying or they weren't paying attention, and either way, that's an L. Now peep the industry context. That NBA YoungBoy mass appeal tour everybody wants to compare her to? That was 42 sold-out dates with $70 million and 552,000 tickets. Cardi did it in 35 dates. That's 7 fewer shows. When you do the math per show average, Cardi's averaging close to $2 million a night. Nicki's Pink Friday 2 tour averaged roughly $1.3 million per show across 79 dates. So the Nicki did more argument falls apart the second you divide by the number of shows. That's why the Bobs are mad. Math is undefeated. And here's the timeline kicker nobody's talking about. Cardi announced this tour after dropping Am I the Drama, her second studio album released September 19th, 2025. The tour kicked off February 11th, 2026. That means she turned an album into a record-shattering arena run in under 5 months. 5 months! Meanwhile, certain other female rappers been riding the same tour for 2 years to hit $100 million. And they really thought nobody would connect these dots? Brew. One more thing. The timing of Armon Wiggins' criticism. He dropped his Cardi B versus Nicki. The numbers don't lie content on April 21st, 2026, the same day the updated $70 million number went public. So he made his video before Live Nation finalized the books. That's a move of someone who's desperate for engagement, not someone doing journalism. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Now check this out. Nobody's talking about the specific language Cardi used on that live. Because if you listen closely, every single word was calculated. Zoom in on one phrase. It's about to get nasty. Pause right there. She didn't say big. She didn't say crazy. She said nasty. In hip-hop, nasty has a very specific meaning. It means surgical, personal, embarrassing. That's Lil' Kim energy. That's Foxy energy. That's I'm not just gonna outsell you, I'm gonna make you uncomfortable energy. And the critics really didn't catch that? That's embarrassing. Now zoom into another specific word. Prepared. She said, I got some stuff prepared. Not planned. Not working on. Prepared. Past tense. Already done. Already in the vault. That means whatever's coming, whether it's a European leg announcement, a surprise single, or a full album drop, it's already recorded, mixed, and sitting on a hard drive. The fact that she said prepared means the move is queued up, and the opposition is walking into an ambush they don't even see coming. Peep the ad-lib moment too. When she said Live Nation going to go with who the expletive, they're making their money. Listen to her inflection. She laughed mid-sentence. That's not anger. That's confidence. That's a tone of somebody who already saw the spreadsheet. You don't laugh at accusations unless you know the receipts are bulletproof. If the haters had half a brain, they would have noticed that tonal shift before doubling down. And here's a forensic kicker. The pattern across her entire rollout. Go back and look at her posts from the last 6 months. Every single major announcement, the album, the tour dates, the Megan Thee Stallion feature tease, was followed by a period of silence, then a viral moment, then another milestone. That's not luck. That's a rollout strategy. That's a team. And the bloggers trying to paint her as stumbling into records are ignoring a 12-month pattern of surgical execution. That's the problem with the opposition. They don't read between the lines. One more layer. The limited view tickets. Let's talk legal for a second. Live Nation is a publicly traded company. Inflating ticket numbers isn't a shady move. It's securities fraud. The SEC would be in that building. So the idea that Live Nation would risk federal investigation for little old Cardi, as she herself put it, is genuinely one of the dumbest conspiracy theories ever pushed in hip-hop media. And you really ran with it? Embarrassing. Now let's see how the media covered this. Okay, so let's see how the outlets framed this whole situation, because the spin is wild. XXL Mag framed it as a clean, historic win. The headline treated the $70 million number as settled fact and emphasized the highest-grossing debut arena tour by a female rapper angle. The source took it a step further and positioned the Atlanta finale as the crowning moment, framing Cardi as an all-time rap record holder, not just a female rap record holder. Both outlets essentially co-signed the Live Nation numbers with no skepticism. But then you got the skeptic camp. Touring Data's original post went up with that $69.54 million figure, and certain YouTube commentators, notably Armon Wiggins, ran with the adjustment narrative, spinning it as suspicious. That's the framing the countercamp leaned on. Meanwhile, Bob fan accounts pivoted to the Nicki gross $108 million lifetime defense, try and compare 3 legs across a world tour to Cardi's single North American run. Now here's where it gets messy. Pop data accounts actually ranked the all-time female rap tours honestly. Pink Friday 2 at $108 million across multileg. The Scarlet Tour at $40 million. Out of This World Tour at $33 million. So when you look at apples to apples, first legs only, Cardi's $70 million obliterates everybody except Nicki's full world tour. That's a completely different comparison than what the critics want you to believe. The counter-narrative being pushed is basically, Cardi only beat the numbers because of limited view tickets. But remember those obstructive view posts? They were going up from night one. That's organic demand, not manufactured padding. And some haters are saying this is cap, but those are the same people who thought Cardi wouldn't even sell out ONE Arena. The media trying to spin this to the opposition, but the receipts don't lie. If you still think Cardi's numbers are inflated after all this evidence, you're just biased. Period. But here's what nobody is saying. All right, everybody want to talk about the numbers. Everybody want to debate whether $69 million or $70 million is a real figure. Cool. But here's what nobody is talking about, and it's the actual story. This isn't about Cardi B's tour numbers. This is about the industry realizing it doesn't control the female rap narrative anymore. Think about it. For the last decade, there's been an unwritten rule in hip-hop media. There can only be ONE-dominant female rapper at a time. Labels pushed it. Blogs amplified it. Stan armies weaponized it. And every time a new girl started eating, the machine would crank up the "she's not real hip-hop" or "her numbers are inflated" talking points to protect the established throne. That wasn't an accident. That was gatekeeping. And the opposition is a puppet of that system. The label is pulling the strings, and they don't even know they are being played. Now here's the forbidden part. Cardi just broke that rule, not with a diss track, not with a feud, but with a receipt. $70 million, 453,000 tickets, 35 sellouts, 0 giveaways, 0 discounted seats being dumped on Groupon, pure demand. And the gatekeeper's response wasn't to celebrate a black woman from the Bronx making history. It was to question the math. That's not journalism. That's panic. Remember when she said, "Live Nation going to go with who the expletive they're making their money?" That wasn't a brag. That was her exposing the entire industry game, and that's the angle that changes everything. Because the moment you realize this isn't about Cardi versus Nicki, or Cardi versus NBA Youngboy, or Cardi versus Armon Wiggins, you realize it's about Cardi versus the blueprint. The blueprint that says one black woman eats at a time. The blueprint that says debut tours don't break records. The blueprint that says rap girls are supposed to earn it over multiple album cycles before they get arena money. She just lit the entire blueprint on fire. And the haters are writing tweets defending a system that was never going to put them on anyway. The historical pattern is wild too. Remember when Lil' Kim was supposed to take Fox's spot, and the industry pit them against each other for entertainment? Same with Remy Ma and Nicki. Same with Nicki and Iggy. Same with Cardi and Nicki in 2018. This is the same playbook. Create a villain. Split the audience. Water down both artist impact. Cardi refused to play this round. She went on live and said, "I'm not on Twitter going, F y'all. I'm not doing none of that. Don't make me get there." That's the voice of somebody who understands the game now. 5 years ago, she would have jumped. Now, she's playing chess. The opposition is still stuck playing checkers with a tweet deck. And the cultural impact angle? This moment is marking the end of an era. The era where female rappers needed a cosign, a mentor, a moment to validate them. The era where debut tours were supposed to be intimate club runs. That era is over. Cardi's tour is going to be the new benchmark that every female rapper, from Glorilla to Doha to whoever's next, gets measured against. And that's a generational shift. The opposition represents the old guard that the culture is done with. They are watching the genre move on without them, and they are screaming into a void that stopped listening 6 months ago. The forbidden truth? Cardi B isn't beefing with individual haters. She's beefing with an entire system that was designed to keep women like her from having this exact moment. And she just won. And that's the truth they won't tell you. So what happens next? Scenario 1, the most likely outcome. Here's what's most likely to happen. Within the next 6 to 8 weeks, Cardi's gonna announce the European leg. She teased it herself. What you're going to say when I do a European leg? And her team has already been hinting at expansion since late 2025. When those dates drop, London, Paris, Manchester, Amsterdam are gonna sell out in minutes. Not hours, minutes. And when that happens, the same critics screaming inflated numbers are gonna look desperate trying to explain why European arenas, which operate under completely different ticketing systems, are also cooking the books just for Cardi. The silence is gonna hurt them more than any diss track could, because there's no limited view conspiracy that works across 3 continents. Scenario 2, the alternative path. Now, if Cardi chooses the album route first, which he straight up said on Spaces, quote, I want to put out an album first. I really think I could put out an album in less than a year from now. That's actually worse for the opposition, because that means a brand new project, fresh singles, fresh viral moments, and then a second tour on top of the first one. If she drops a Megan Thee Stallion collab, a solo single, or a full album before heading overseas, the hype around Leg 2 will double what Leg 1 did. The critics are not ready for what's coming if Cardi takes this album route seriously. We saw what she did on Little Miss Drama as a first arena run. Imagine what happens when she's got a new body of work to promote. The opposition doesn't stand a chance. Scenario 3, the industry and cultural impact. Looking at the bigger picture, this moment is gonna reshape how labels value female rap artists for the next 5 years. Booking agents are gonna use Cardi's $2 million per show average as the new floor, not the ceiling. Promoters are gonna greenlight arena tours for female rap debuts that previously got stuck in theaters and clubs. Streaming bonuses are gonna restructure. Merch deals are gonna inflate. The entire economic pipeline for women in rap just got rebuilt overnight. And the opposition? They are gonna be the footnote. 5 years from now, people will look back at this as the moment female rap tour economics permanently change. And the haters who spent April 2026 writing the numbers are fake tweets are gonna get those tweets dug up and screenshot into oblivion. Her fans are already saving them. She said it herself on the live. Mark my words, the cultural legacy from this run is gonna outlive every single hot take written against it. The opposition is watching the culture move on without them, and there's nothing they can do about it. Whatever happens next, one thing's clear. The opposition already lost. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed uncovering the real story, smash that like button and hit subscribe so you never miss when we expose what everyone else is too scared to